Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Sathya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam online classes. The chapter is on sound and communication. We are hearing lot of sounds all around us. Some sounds we appreciate, we like it, like music. Some sound we feel very annoyed, like noise, sound of the cracker, siren, etc., etc. And we have come to that part of lesson about communication now. How to communicate. In the previous class, we have seen some of the interesting things. Just to recall some of them. Characteristic and nature of the wave. We have two important formula here. V is equal to n lambda. What is V? Velocity of the wave. What is wave? Wave is the disturbance caused in a medium by an external agency. Suppose there is a pond of water and water is steady. If you put a stone on it, there is a disturbance. Now let us suppose all of you are sitting silent in the class. One of your friends who comes late and makes some noise, or he makes something to fall, there is disturbance, is it not? So that disturbance caused in a medium is called as wave. There are two kinds of waves. One is called transverse wave, another is called longitudinal wave. And how does a wave move? In the case of transverse waves, they move perpendicular to the medium. In the case of longitudinal wave, they move parallel to the medium. Here they cause crests and troughs. And longitudinal waves cause compressions and rarefactions. And when a wave moves from one place to another, it will carry energy and hence it will have a velocity. The velocity of the wave depends upon two things. What are the two things? One is frequency of the wave. It is a reciprocal of the time. Is it not? And what is this lambda? Lambda is a Greek constant used for wavelength. What is wavelength? Wavelength is the distance between two consecutive crests or troughs. The upper portion is called crest. So distance between two crests is called as wavelength. Denoted by the symbol lambda. How it is measured? Measured by a unit called meter. All these things we have studied in the previous class. So also we have seen the different kinds of musical instruments. What are the three kinds? We have there are three kinds of musical instrument. One is called string instruments. Example, veena, sitar, violin, etc. Where a vibration is created. Is it not? And you have what is called air instruments like flute, nadaswaram, saxophone, etc., etc. Air instruments. where the air column is regulated by means of devices. And also you have percussion instruments where a skin membrane is made to vibrate, like tabla, you have kanjara, then come on, naal, okay, mridangam, etc., etc. They are called percussion instruments. And also we have seen about sonar and radar. Sonar works underwater, radar works in air. What is the expansion of sonar? Sound navigation and ranging. What is the wave used here? Ultrasonic waves. What are ultrasonic waves? The waves having wavelength more than 20 kilohertz. They are called as ultrasonic waves. So, it is one of the most advanced technology. And in case of radar, radio waves are sent. That by means of what is called as antennas. Under the expansion of radar, radio detection and ranging. At least 10 times you must tell. But practice, okay? Otherwise it cannot come so easily. So important expansion. That is just to find out or locate the air traffic signal system, to find out the movement of the flights, to find the movement of the satellites also, and all that, okay. That is how radar and sonar works. And also we have studied about microphone and speakers. Microphone, shortly called as mic, is very essential in the case of a large audience where the words coming from the mouth is not heard by the audience. So if mic is there, then it can go to different parts of the hall. There will be cable for that. We already seen that in detail. Speakers also kept. There are different kind of speakers. Why the speakers are needed? Just to spread or just to improve the audibility. Is it not? So there are different kind of speakers also, mics also, which are discussed in the previous class. Okay, now coming to the answers for the home assignment. Give 3 examples of devices that make use of microphones or speakers or both. But give 3 examples. One is telephone, which I am going to study today, radio, television, etc., etc. There will be microphone also. Mic also will be there. Speaker also will be there. Okay. So these are the 3 devices which you are using daily in your life. And next question is, in a condenser microphone, there are 2 types, ribbon type and condenser type. In a condenser, what will happen if the diaphragm is made very heavy? So in a condenser microphone, if the diaphragm is made very heavy, the inertia of the diaphragm will be higher. But diaphragm is a membrane, thin layer. So if it is heavy, the inertia will be more. This means it will be difficult for the diaphragm to move rapidly. So when you make a speech or when you sing a song, etc., the diaphragm vibrates. No? So if the diaphragm is heavy, then what happens? The vibrations will be slow. it cannot work efficiently. Okay, its movement cannot be fast enough, and so it will not be possible to reproduce very high frequencies. So diaphragm must be thin, as thin as possible. Do you know where we have diaphragm? Even in our instrument also there is diaphragm. Where it is? Come on. Yes, it is inside the ear. Is it not? Some sound will be interested to hear for some time. Some will close our ears. Why? The sound beats our diaphragm. When sound beats our diaphragm has a capacity. We call it as ear drum. In our case, it is called ear drum. And if you hear more and more sounds, that is how many people lose their hearing. They use some devices. Have you seen it? Earphones they are called. Why the earphones are used? Because the ear drum, what is there inside the ear, is not working properly. That's why external agency is needed. So it is a conclusion is that diaphragm should not be heavy. Okay, microphone converts sound into electrical entity or voltage. So when you speak in front of a mic, that is called sound energy. And when it goes out of the mic, it goes in the form of electrical entity or voltage. And while speaker converts electric signal into sound. Other day we have shown it on box type of speaker or loudspeaker and so on. There what happens? The electrical voltage signals that comes to the speaker, it converts into sound. So whatever sound is made by the speaker, means the person, will be heard in the speaker. Is it not? All that is made sound will be heard by the speaker other side. So this is the home assignment. Now let us come to the today's topic. Today's topic is about telephone. When I say telephone, it goes to a very long history. Hundreds of years ago, telephones were there, and it was Alexander Graham Bell. That's how the word bell also is there now. We say bell is not given, bell is given. Why the bell late today, like that we say bell, bell, bell. This bell is come from this person called Alexander Graham Bell, who found the first telephone. Of course, it was a very big device when he found it. Even you can also try. Take some 2 matchboxes, cheap and best. Don't take new one, that used one when there is no matchsticks. Just to make one hole in that and have one small stick to which a thread is to be connected. Same way in other matchbox, the thread is to be taken to the other side, and then what you must do? Same type, one needle to that this thread is to be tied. You can use tins also to be very nice here to hear, tins. And in case of matchbox, of course it cannot go for long distances, something like 2-3 meters. You can hear it. One inside the class, one outside the class, you can hear it. If you use tins, it will be audible to a long distance. So very simple device. So his wife was deaf. Because she was deaf, he was thinking seriously to solve the problem. What can be done to make her to hear? That is how he invented this. He was a teacher actually, and he was a teacher of deaf people, and hence he was an engineer also. and because of his curiosity and because of his hard work, he could discover telephones. So these are some of the telephones you can see here. This is the dial type. So this is what is called just a ring like this, and there will be numbers here. Of course, nowadays most of them use what is called as mobile phones. This is another type of mobile phone, and this is a wireless phone. This is a phone with wire, or what you call cable. Here there is no cable. Sometimes we call it as walkie-talkie also. You might have seen how the police people use it. Of course, the distance is limited. You cannot go for long distances. So several type of phones. One is called handset. This is called handset, mobile phone. This is called satellite phone and internet phone. All these are different type of phones. Okay. Now there are some interesting things you must know about telephones. Hello, that is one voice which you hear. When you say hello, you must know it is a common greeting we use when picking up the phone. But it was not the same always at that way. Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, suggested using ahoy. Because there must be some, some will use Ram Ram, some will say Sai Ram, some will say some bhajan, this and that. Isn't it? So different people use different. So when Alexander Graham Bell, he used the word ahoy when answering the phone. It was actually Thomas Alva Edison who suggested that using hello. The word hello was introduced by Edison. Why is he famous for? Can you tell me? Yes, he invented bulb, electric bulb, correct? So he was a very hard worker, not like you and me. Very hard worker. He did 999 experiments, all failed. The 1000th experiment only was successful, and that is invention of bulb, what you call incandescent bulb. And these truths may sound simple, but they still count as a worthy element for the telephone invention fact. So the word hello is a very interesting word. Now deaf people influenced the invention of the telephone. I was just telling you that deaf people, nowadays they use one more type of language. Do you know? It is called Braille. They use a language called Braille. Of course, it was Braille only, name of the scientist who discovered those who cannot see. That was Braille literature. Those who are cannot see. This is about hearing. Okay. So anyway, there were so many inventions. That is what he said, necessity is the mother of invention. So Thomas Alva Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, he had a wife by name Mabel who was deaf, and it is said that Bell grew interested in telecommunications in an effort to help restore his wife's hearing. So whatever he said, wife will not be hearing, not understanding what he says. Isn't it? That was his problem. Then Bell's mother, Eliza, who was also deaf, needed the help of a hearing trumpet. So Edison used to have, a trumpet. Graham Bell used to have a trumpet to talk to them, because they were very, very feeble hearing, and that's how he discovered telephone to avoid such weakness of hearing. Okay, So this is an interesting factor about telephones. Now let us see what is the basic function of a phone. Short form of telephone is phone, and the process of doing phone is called phoning. Is it not? So the basic function of a phone is to allow communication of voice both ways. Yesterday in the previous class we discussed about communications. It may be through body language, it may be vocal, or it may be through instruments like this. In phone you have communication of voice both the ways. The telephone may be with or without wire. So some telephones will have wire, some will not have wire. We call it as wireless. Wireless. What you see now, mobile is a wireless phone. There is no wire for that. And it has reached crores of people now. Even in India, also it has crossed, I think, around 30 to 40 crores of people, because it is one of the easiest way of communicating things. So many factors are possible by that, which you study next. So, in earlier days it was with wire. Nowadays you have without wire. So in a wired phone there will be a speaker and microphone. Okay. So both will be in the same set. One is the person who talks, another one is the person who receives. In both of them there will be a microphone, there will be a speaker. The microphone receives our voice and converts into electric signal. So what does the mic do? It receives our voice. It need not be only talking words, it may be music also, it may be instrumental music also, it may be chirping of the birds also, so many things, blowing of wind and so on. All these are called voice. This voice will be converted into electrical signal. Similar process occurs inside the mouthpiece of the telephone. So this is a very basic function of a telephone. Now what are the main parts of a basic telephone? There are three main parts of a basic telephone. One is hook, also called as switch, cradle with a hook switch. Second is mouthpiece which houses a microphone. And third one is a hearing piece which houses a speaker, usually an 8 ohm speaker. What is that ohm? Ohm stands for unit for resistance. So 8 ohm speaker will be there. So this is the figure of a handset. Here this is the speaker and this is a microphone where you speak, or called as mic also, and this is the hook switch. When you just keep this handset on that, the hook switch will go down. When you remove it, it comes back to outside the junction box through phone jack. So this is that connection. These are called keys, where numbers are printed. How many of you know at least 10 phone numbers? Okay. At least your friends, relatives, close relatives number, if you know it by heart, it will be easy, no? But of course, some are there who do not know any number. But even their own number also they don't know. Therefore, they will have a small book in which they note down some important numbers. And of course, in mobile you can save all the numbers. So this is what is called structure of a phone. So these are the three important parts of the phone. And for today's class, I have brought one set also for your convenience. See, this is what is called handset. And this is the mic where you speak like this. Hello, are you hearing? No, you are not hearing. No, you are not hearing because there is no connection made to you from here. But anyway, this is called mic and this is called speaker. So in speaker you have to keep, and mic is to be kept near the mouth, is it not? And the first step is you have to lift it. When you are going to lift, when a ring comes, how do you know ring is coming? There will be a small, this is called the LED which gives light. So there will be ringing of the, by the help of what is called as ringer, you can hear this. When you hear that, you lift it, and that time this is called hook. This hook will come. When you keep it, like it goes inside, remove it, it comes back. And these are the numbers. For example, my number is 974019310. Like that you have to press the number. And what happens when you press the number? It goes to the party whom you want to speak. And there will be a ring for him. He lifts the phone. And you say, hello, are you coming to the match today? Yes, I am coming. Are you coming to the hotel for the dining? Yes. Or you can say no also. Something will be there. And for some, especially youths, they don't have any matter to talk. Simply for, it's called chatting. They use it. So when all call is over, you'll keep it back. This is what is called as phone set. And it is connected by means of what this is called cable wire. It connected to a battery. This should be kept for a battery because there will be electromagnetic inside it, and electromagnet will work only when current is passed through the wire. Okay. Now coming to the working of this, main parts of basic telephone. The phone is rested on hooks, just now I have shown you. As soon as the phone is lifted, the hooks pop up, means come up, and a connection gets made inside the body of the cradle, which completes a dial tone ringer circuit. So dial tone, and very well about that things. So many of you are very well versed in mobile phones. Nowadays, small children also know how to operate mobiles. And because of the corona and all, because of this disease, everybody is confined to mobiles only. And it all online classes which you are doing now. So mobiles are very, very important. So I need not tell much about it. There will be a ringer tone. This produces a tone which is actually a mix of two tones, means two frequencies. So the ring tone comes. After hearing the ring tone, what happens? We know that a phone is connected, but somebody is ringing, and we can dial a number. If the number is busy, when you dial, we hear another mix of tones. Suppose the other party is talking to somebody else, then what happens? You hear the busy tone. Now the dialing is by pressing the keys. Just now I shown you how to press the keys. And this is one of the old models, and this is what is called dialing, and it should be done one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Whatever number is there, you have to keep your finger inside the hole and turn. Okay, that was of course a old model, but anyway it is how it was improved. So this is a phone set, and this is a stand on which it is kept. Okay, so when the ring comes, you have to lift it up, and to call on phone. Okay. Now after that we speak into the mouthpiece and hear other person through the speaker. So our mic also will be there, speaker also is there. So when you have to speak through the mic, we hear through the speaker. The speaker and the microphones from the ends of the phone set. So at our set there will be both speaker and mic. Similarly other party also will be having a mic and also phone set. In this way the set can be held close to the face such that the speaker is close to our ear and the mic to our mouth. So mic should be connected to mouth, not connected, brought near, and speaker should be near the ear. And of course it is very important, should not go on talking for hours together. Our ear also will lose the energy and eardrums will be affected, is it not? So it is not advisable to talk for long hours. The speech is controlled by a mouthpiece which contains a mic. It includes a diaphragm. So there will be a diaphragm inside, a thin layer. Nowadays, so there will be a thin layer. So when you talk in the mic, the layer will be disturbed, and that wave will be transferred to the other side. Now what happens? There are electronic microphones. Earlier that set type was there, now it is electronic microphones are there. The signal, namely electrical current, is sent to a junction box outside the house using a pair of copper or aluminum wires. Junction box will be there. Not only your house, some are 2-3 houses nearby also will be connected to that junction box by the help of copper or aluminum wires. Why you must take copper wire? Because it is a good conductor of electricity, or aluminum also. That will be there. That is called junction box. And these electrical wires carry voice signals. The sound converted into electrical signal. They are sent through a common coaxial cable. That wire, black wire, it is called cable. In that there will be 2 wires inside. So there will be a coaxial cable having many pairs of copper wires to the telephone company's exchange. From there they can be routed either through the metallic or fiber optical cables. So for every town or city there will be one exchange, telephone exchange office. Have you seen it? For example, BSNL, one of the famous companies about which I will tell you later, and all the landlines what they are done, even now also, they are operated, controlled at a place called telephone exchange office. So the connection from the house will go through by means of cables, and that cables will contain copper wires because it is a conductor which the electric signals will be passed to that, and it may be optical cable also. Optical cable means what? That is using optical fibers. What is optical fibers? Optical fibers are nothing but small thin glass wires. You have studied about total interreflection in the light chapter. Total internal reflection. So this is one of the important properties of light. It happens in case of refraction. Refraction from one medium to another medium. So that property of light is made use of by means of a small wires, and light is made to pass into that, and it has got in a small, very small place, lot of wires can be introduced. That's why they use optical cables. They have advanced technology in this, and the light will be usually laser light. You heard about laser? What is laser? Anybody expand? Laser is the most powerful artificial light. What is laser? Anybody expand? Come on. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Come on, repeat. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. That is called laser. One of the powerful light that is made to pass into these fibers, optical cables, and there total internal reflection take place, and hence these electric signals can be passed through that. And these days these signals are also routed from the exchange through microwaves. Another way of doing this thing is microwaves using satellites, especially for international calls. In the olden days they used to send through the sea, SESC, and there will be what is called as cables, and it will take lot of time for connection, but within now in a fraction of second it goes to any nation of the world, right? And that is happens because of the microwaves. What do you mean micro? 10 to the power of minus 6. 10 to the power of minus 6 meter is called micrometer. So microwaves are used, and these are sent by what are called as satellites, and these satellites will pass on information to all parts of the globe. There will be what is called as communication satellites. In addition, there is a ringer also there. When someone calls, it rings bell, and we know that we have to attend a call. So the call comes. Sometimes you will knowing so and so will be calling at this time. Sometimes you will not be knowing. That time a ringer will give ring. Even there is one more device wherein our own voice should not be heard by us only. And there is one device called, I think, duplex, wherein our voice should only go transmitted and we must hear the other end. Is it not? So that is all about the working of a telephone. There are so many things here. The hearing is controlled by a speaker, consists of a diaphragm and with a permanent magnet attached to it in one end and an electromagnet close to the other end. Electromagnet, permanent magnet. You know permanent magnet? Yes. Permanent magnet is like a bar magnet or U-shaped horseshoe magnet and so on. Electromagnet is one which gets magnetism only when electricity is passed through them. The signal comes and flows through the coil. So when the signal comes and flows through this coil, it will pass down. This causes the iron core to be magnetized. So in electromagnet, that iron becomes electromagnet. This naturally causes the diaphragm to vibrate the same pattern as incoming current, namely voice. This generates sound that we hear. You have seen electric bell, no? Electric bell also. The principal or the head, no, they will have, even in a house also, all of you have a bell. There will be a switch outside, so you have to press the bell. There will be a bell inside the house. So if the door is closed, what you will do? You must press the bell. When you press the bell, the signal will go and the bell will be hitting there. Is it not? That is electromagnet, by the help of electromagnet. So also here also same principle is made use of, and you can hear the bell, and that is the work of the speaker. Okay. And let us see some spiritual aspect of it. Why this sound is very, very important. The communication is very important. See what is this beautiful figure represents? Come on, anybody? It is Lord Krishna. Who is this? Arjuna. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha. So wherever the Lord Krishna is there and a warrior like Arjuna is there, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama, said the Lord. There will be Shrihi, there will be wealth. Dhruva Nitihi, morality. Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama, says the Lord. So, here the message given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, what is the message called? Bhagavad Gita. As the name itself says, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavat means Lord. Gita means what? Sound. And here the sound is heard by Arjuna. That sound means the words told by Lord Krishna is heard by Arjuna. So here he acts like a mic. He acts like a speaker. Okay. So this process is called Shravanam. Hearing about God. One of the 9 types of devotion, the first one is called Shravanam. Arjuna hearing the Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna. Similarly, Arjuna's grandson, son of Abhimanyu, namely Parikshit, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from sage Shuka. So that Parikshita knew that he has to leave the body after 7 days. There was a curse given to him by a rishi. And so he goes to sage Shuka and hear the story of Bhagavatam. Here he hears Bhagavad Gita, Parikshita hears Bhagavatam. So both are hearing. So both were liberated from bondage thereby. Means both of them reached lotus feet of the Lord. So here what the summary is that Shravanam, one of the 9 type of devotion. That's why we are supposed to hear good things, hear good music, good bhajans and so on. So by hearing, our thoughts, words, actions will be purified, heart also will be purified. We will become near and dear to God. And one important thing, BSNL, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, is the largest government-based communication network in India. It is working through broadband and optical fiber technique, spread to nook and corner of India. And recently it has started connectivity with other nations. 350 mobile networks are there under the name BSNL, Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited. BSNL is proud to be serving India and its people for 21 years. That means it started in 15 September 2000. What is 15 September famous for? Yes, it's Vishweshwaraya's birthday. What was Vishweshwaraya? World famous engineer from Muddenalli. He was born in Muddenalli. On that day, this BSNL started its functioning of the network. Now coming to home assignment, first question, telephone was discovered by the scientist. But name the scientist out of the 4. What are the 3 main parts of a basic telephone? What is the function of a below parts in a telephone? What is the function means? Action you must tell. What does a microphone do? Ringer, optical cable, speaker. Okay, come prepared. All the best. Thank you.